Let me show you the power of intercession according to Genesis 18. You praying for someone has the power to pull them out of darkness, even when they themselves do not want to leave. It also has the power to protect them from the righteous judgment of God himself. At least that's what happens when Abraham intercedes for Lot in Genesis 18. Abraham has a very strong relationship with God, a relationship where God calls Abraham to be a blessing to others, and therefore God starts to tell Abraham some of his plans. One of them includes a response to the outcry that God is hearing from a city called Sodom and Gomorrah. Sodom and Gomorrah is known as one of the most perverted and violent cities. The predatory behavior is so strong in Sodom and Gomorrah that when God sends two of his representatives, Genesis says men of all ages surround the building in which the men are and tell the men to come out so that they can be gang raped by that crowd of men. Why would Abraham be interceding for someone who is in the city, someone who acts like that? Well, the thing is, Abraham had a nephew who he treated like a son, and his nephew's name was Lot. At some point, the amount of wealth that they accumulated was so much that they decided to separate. And Lot takes his wealth, being cattle, oxen, servants, and he places himself just outside the city of Sodom and Gomorrah because it's a convenient, fertile land for him to continue to take care of the wealth that he has accumulated. But at some point, Lot goes from living outside of the city to living in the city. At some point, he compromised and became a part of the city. Lot's wife had a particular yearning and affiliation with the city, such that when they were escaping, she looked back and she turns to a pillar of salt because of how much she desired to be back in her city. Lot himself might not have been doing these super predatory acts, but he hadn't rejected the city. He had become a part of it. And now Lot was in danger because there was an outcry from Sodom and Gomorrah that was coming to God. God says, I will judge what is happening there. Historically, we know that the last time there was an outcry in the time of Noah, God responded with a flood. He wiped out all of the sin that was there. And therefore, Abraham knows if God finds the city of Sodom and Gomorrah to be guilty, they will be wiped out. So Abraham does a brave thing, but also a strange thing at this time. He says, God, if you find that there are 50 righteous people, i.e. people that are not committing these acts, will you save the city? And God says, yes, I will save the city for the sake of those 50. And he says, okay, cool. What if you find 40? And God says, yes. What if you find, and this goes on and on and on until he's like, what if you find 5 people? Now, God knows Abraham. He knows that what he's really saying is, there's a person in that city that I care about. A person that in my heart of hearts I know is righteous, but maybe made the wrong decisions. Will you have mercy on that city for my person's sake?